let's talk about how applications are processed. So we'll start with some basic data. There will also be some true falses. So if I ask a true false, you do me a great service if you actually type an answer into the question and answer, or not the Q&A, just like the chat box, I think is probably easiest. That way it just feels a little bit more interactive. So one thing to note is that law school applications are going up. You can expect that that not only will the velocity maintain, it will accelerate, which is to say that COVID and any kind of economic disruption tends to have the effect of driving people to apply to graduate school because the job market sucks. Not any good reason to think that wouldn't be the case here too. So all of you are unfortunately facing a slightly more competitive future applying to law school than you might have several years back. But this has been a trend for a while. Basically, after 2008, there was a pretty solid dip as law firms were kind of freezing hiring. A dip in terms of, well, actually, the kind of first reaction was an increase. The second reaction was a dip, and then it's been sort of steadily increasing since then. I would say that safe bet it's going to continue getting increasingly competitive. How about this, true or false? Schools have an algorithm to determine who is accepted or rejected. Karen, we'll answer questions at the end if that's okay. We have a couple trues, predominantly false. Okay. I'd say it's like 1 to 8 ratio of true to false, maybe worse, maybe 1 to 10. Okay, so the answer is false. They use a process of holistic review in which individual admissions officers assess every portion of the application. Now, it does not mean that there are not students who are quote unquote auto-admitted because of their grades and test scores. I'm sure that happens. I am actually positive it happens. But for the overwhelming majority of students, it's not an algorithm. It is a holistic process in which an individual admissions officer or a professor, in some circumstances, is looking through the application and deciding kind of the sum of the parts, whether or not the student should be admitted or rejected. And so the important part is here is to not lose sight of the fact that all variables matter, and they're definitely the most important variables are definitely your GPA and your LSAT score. There's no question about that. But all variables matter, and although those two variables may be necessary, they are not in most cases in and of themselves sufficient to get you admitted. Usually you need more. You need a quality application.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them, and feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.